Bonjour, welcome to Miss Lucy's Classic Cajun Culture and Cooking. I'm your host, Miss Lucy, and today we're going to have a great show for you. We've just caught a bunch of crawfish. Then we'll be going into the processing plant and show you how they're processed before they get to market. Of course, this will all take place in Basile, Louisiana at the Aqua Farms. And then we'll be picking another ingredient for our very special dish we'll be preparing. You stay with us, Sha. We'll be right back.
The Louisiana Seafood Board is proud to sponsor Miss Lucy's cooking series. Louisiana cooking is known around the world, and Louisiana's main ingredient, seafood. We put the same thing into our music that we put into our gumbo, everything. A Louisiana tour guide is available at www.louisianatravel.com. Louisiana crawfish, an appetizing natural resource.
Years ago, I began collecting recipes. Some were my own, others were my mama's and grandma's, stored away and almost forgotten. Imagine my delight recently at finding this treasure from my past. How precious. Now, I share these recipes and memories with my children and granddaughter. Just another part of my heritage. And Miss Lucy's Classic Cajun Culture and Cooking. Merci beaucoup for joining me in my kitchen today. And I'm so excited because I received my crawfish supply from Aqua Farms Crawfish in Basile, Louisiana. And that just gave me the envie to cook some crawfish dishes. But first, let's visit with Mr. Lejeune and see how his crawfish got from his field to here. Lots of etouffees in crawfish heaven. Carrying these sacks seemed easy for him. After rinsing the crawfish, they are graded according to size. He seemed like a real friendly one, but looks may be deceiving. Look at those pinches. The small ones go into the first sack hole. The mediums go next, then the largest into another as selects for boiling. Then they are dumped into the boiling vat for 3 minutes at 180-degree temperature. After which they are rinsed to cool them off. They are then carried to the peeling tables where anxious fingers await them. Look at them go. I'd probably eat more than I would peel. She taught me a thing or two. The tail meat is then weighed. Each peeler gets paid according to how much they peeled that day. Here's my morning's work. Next, the tail meat is bagged and then vacuum packed. Beautiful tail meat ready for cooking. The bags go into a tub of iced water to be kept till boxed for market. I'm going to fix a real special dish. It'll be crawfish corn soup. Very good friend of mine from Coteau Lake showed me how to do this. She of course, fed me some, and I insisted upon her giving me the recipe, and she did. So first, I've got some butter, which I have melted in here in the pot here already. And you use butter. You can use margarine if you want to, because actually it depends, but butter is always so much better, you know. And then to that, I'm going to throw some onion tops in here. You saute your onion tops and the butter. Of course, Cajuns can't cook without onion tops. Then to this, I'm going to add some mushrooms, which I have chopped up. This is fresh mushrooms. And I guess you could use the jar, the can, whatever, whichever you have access to. This is so tasty. It's delicious, and it's wonderful to serve at any meal. It can be a complete meal, or it can be just the soup before the entire meal. So I'm going to saute this very, very lightly. Now, my mama would never have cooked crawfish like this, because she would have made a bisque or an étouffée or just plain boiled crawfish. But whatever you do is just as good and tasty. But this is really something different, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's going to be good too. We're going to saute this. And next I'm going to put some cream cheese here, which I have already softened in the microwave. You don't want to soften it too much because you don't want to melt it. Just put it in here. And this adds to the richness and the flavor of it also. I could eat this just out of the package, you know. Of course, I like any food. All righty. You go ahead and you just blend this in. Melt it in with the onions and the mushrooms real carefully. And you don't want to boil this too hard because you break down your cream cheese. Of course, this is so quick and easy. It's very delicious too. See, it really starts melting down. And then to this, what I'm going to do next is add my soups. I have the cream of mushroom soup. Okay, can of cream of mushroom. Can't go wrong. Okay. And then my cream of potato soup. Man, I can smell this already. Can't wait to get this in my plate. Okay, and you mix this up real well. All together. Very great. And to that, I'm going to add my corn, because this is crawfish and corn soup. And of course, those good old Louisiana crawfish. Now, see how pretty this is? This is just gorgeous. And it is so delicious. Yes. This is the best I've ever eaten. Thanks to Mary. Now, I'm going to season it now with salt and pepper. Salt, of course, you know, you season according to your taste. Oh, that's my lip. Yeah, right. Good. Good luck. Then I'll put my pepper in here. Now, that's something you have to be careful not to overpower your taste of your crawfish and of course, your creams and all. But it's got to be a little bit on the low pepper side, because if you don't have enough of the black pepper in it, it will take away from the taste of it. Good, very good. Now, guess what comes in next? Of course, the Louisiana crawfish. Yeah, just throw it all in there together. Now, what I'm supposed to do, which you follow my recipe, it's in the cookbook, you just go ahead and you cook this for about 5 or 10 minutes. And it will be just done, because the crawfish tails are blanched like you saw that they did them at the plant, the processing plant. Now, ooh, look how pretty this is. See those beautiful crawfish in there. Now to this, I'm going to add some half and half. You can use just a regular milk if you want to, because this is so rich. But half and half, if you want to cut it with milk, that's fine. You know, it's according to your taste. And that's really what Cajun cooking is all about. You can fix it according to your taste. Ooh, I'm being messy today, but remember, all good cooks are messy cooks. So Guess I must be pretty good. All right. You ought to be able to smell this. Gee. Gorgeous and so good. Now last, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper sauce to it, just to give it that special treat. Okay. I'm going to let this simmer because you don't want to boil it. I'm going to let it simmer for just a few minutes before I serve it. Then, of course, I'll enjoy it. This is gorgeous. So that's all there's to it. And this was so quick and easy, it's going to give me time to fix another crawfish dish today. Now for a very special corn crawfish casserole. Of course, I had some corn left over, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in here. And we're going to use some of that wonderful Louisiana crawfish in this too, because I had plenty of that. I always keep a real good supply of that in my freezer with the vacuum packs that they do. It stays good, fresh. Now, if you have your crawfish that you have kept for maybe a year or so, you may want to rinse the tails, because the tail meat, because actually when the crawfish gets a little rancid, it's really not the crawfish, it's the fat that's in the crawfish. And I always make a note to rinse my crawfish tail meat when my crawfish has been in the freezer. But trust me, my crawfish is never in the freezer that long because we eat it up before a year is over. So I'm going to saute some onions in here. Okay, just throw it in. Cajuns throw everything in the pot. Onions and some bell pepper. Very good. Always good. This is sort of like I guess a corn makshu, but without the tomatoes, you know. So we're going to saute this real good together. Mama never made too many casseroles, but actually she liked this one, and I do too. So I keep up the family tradition, and with all her little recipes I found, I'm going to use this one. So now this has sauteed for a couple minutes, and it's just to the limp size. It's still really shiny and pretty. I'm going to add some flour because you need to kind of have a little thickness in this. Okay, just to thicken up your casserole. I'll gauge it by eye. Smells good already. Let's see. Okay, very good. So I'm going to let that cook while I whip up my egg. And this is Mr. Egg. He is my newest friend. You know, I love kitchen gadgets. And so when I saw Mr. Egg, I just had to have him. Let's see, he comes in handy too often. Alrighty, whipped up my eggs. I'll throw my eggs in here. I'll throw it in like I do everything else. They're starting to thicken already with the flour that I added in there and the egg cooking. I'll add some onion tops. Well, of course, you can't cook without onion tops, you know, at my house. Something else I keep in my freezer. That keeps pretty good. Not in the country, we raise them and we just go ahead and chop them up and freeze them. Very good. Now to this, I'm going to add my leftover corn that I had from my soup. Okay. I like a lot of corn in mine, so I'll just go ahead. No use wasting. Okay, you know Cajuns don't waste anything. Let me lower this a little bit. Okay. Now, mix all this together. Now to this, I'm going to season it right now. So, of course, this old standby salt and pepper. Mama never used any of the other spices, and of course I don't either. It's just a Cajun tradition, you call it. Or a family Cajun tradition. Yeah. And you surely don't want to take away from the taste of that wonderful Louisiana crawfish. Yeah. Okay. See how pretty that is? It's already pretty, but wait. It'll get even prettier. There goes my wonderful crawfish. There you go. Wow. Very good. Now I'll turn my fire off. Go ahead and you mix this up real well, because remember, this is a casserole and it'll have to be baked in the oven at about 325, 350. for about 20 minutes till the crawfish are done and all the flavors are just blended in so good. And this can be a whole meal in itself because you have your vegetables and of course, your main ingredient, seafood, crawfish. You can use shrimp in here too if you want to. Okay, yeah, the shrimp would be real good. Alrighty, got this done. Quick and easy, so delicious. And now I'm going to take it to the oven and put it to baking. And while that bakes, we're going to prepare our dessert. While I was cleaning house one day, I ran across this recipe file. In it, I found a wonderful recipe that I hadn't used in not a long time because this was in my high school days and it was a favorite of mine. So today, I'll show you how to do the chiffon pineapple pie, which I fixed several years ago. Of course, first you got to do your filling. I'm going to start cooking. Let me turn this on. The pineapple, which of course we have crushed. This is a crushed pineapple pie, which you're going to make a chiffon pie out of. It's different from a double crust pie. Okay, you heat it up real good. Okay, then to this you add your sugar. Okay, of course I always use this whenever I had some real friends or come over to spend the night at my house when I was a young girl, and this was so easy to make and I loved it. So I haven't cooked it in a long time. Matter of fact, I forgot about the recipe being there, but oh, did I have fond memories when I found it. To this I'm going to add lemon juice and some lemon zest. Okay, now, alrighty, cook this up. Now next to this, I'm going to add some gelatin. I've already softened this gelatin. So I'm going to throw it into the pot with this, because this is what's going to congeal your salad. This is a plain gelatin. You don't want it flavored. Okay, I'm going to let that cook a little bit. This is what your package looks like. It's the plain, unflavored gelatin. I'm going to show you how you dissolve it real well. Put this here. And I've, of course, reserved my pineapple juice to show you how to do it. And you mix it up. And it'll look just like what I had put in the pot just now. See? Of course, I'm not going to add this to the pot because it would make it too thick. Okay, this is cooking. Good. Now, the egg's going to go to work for me again because I'm going to whip up my eggs. Okay. Very good, thank you. And I'll add them to the pot. This is going to be my filling that's going to thicken. Now, you don't want to go ahead and throw this in with the whipped egg whites too soon, so you have to refrigerate it, because if you add your egg whites to this, it'll it'll just make them watery. So you cook this until it congeals. Of course, for television purposes, I've got some that's already congealed, but this is already thickening, so it doesn't take very long. It's just a matter of, chilling it down. If you cook it and then you refrigerate it right away, you probably can make your pie in just about a half hour. So I'm going to let that cook, and then, it's almost good enough to put in the refrigerator, but not quite. So I'll show you how to complete the filling. This is what it would really look like after it has gotten cold. Now to this, I'm going to just fold in my egg whites. And what I want to do is fold. I don't want to stir, because if you stir, you just make your egg whites just go very flat. It's kind of like a hairdo. You don't want egg whites that are flat. Don't want a hairdo that's flat either. So you just fold this in, very easy. And of course, as you've noticed, I have a pie shell right here. And I have to admit, I used to make pie shells. I used to make my own pie shells. But the older you get, I don't know if you get wiser or you get lazier. Well, in my case, it's probably both. But anyway, what I did, I bought some pie shells that were not baked. But I keep them in my freezer and I bake them as needed because it's so much easier and quicker. And honey, they're real good. So I'm going to just fold this together and then I'll just add it to my pie shell. Okay. I love a chiffon pie. And of course, I love any kind of pie. So this is really nice. Then you arrange it in your pie shell as such. Now, what you can do with this, you can add Cool Whip or you can add whipped cream to it. You whip it up real stiff and you can just add it on top. And then you refrigerate it again for, I would say, an hour before you serve it. And honey, it's just a dessert to die for. Now, how I like it, I don't like the whipped cream on top. So today I'm fixing it like I like it. And of course, that's my choice, and I can do that because I'm cooking for me in my kitchen. So whatever you desire to do, just even like this, it's delicious, or you can add a whipped cream to it. So now we've got all our recipes all together, and we're going to look and see what they look like. And with such a fabulous meal, and believe you me, it is a fabulous meal, you can serve this to anybody, even to a king. I would serve the layered salad. Of course, this salad goes way back when I was in Farm Bureau, and we would have suppers for the crew and the members and all. And Rhonda Bostic, a friend of mine, she was there always, and this was her special dish, and she gave me her recipe. Of course, I've inherited a lot of good recipes from a lot of good women. Now, this has the lettuce on the bottom, because it's a layered salad, and we've got peas, sweet peas. You can use the canned peas, or you can use the fresh peas, or, of course, you've got to cook them first. And then you can use the frozen ones, too. Remember to cook your peas before you put them in here. You layer the peas after the lettuce, and then on top of that, you add mayonnaise. You know, I always say mayonnaise. Now, Melissa doesn't like that. She wants me to say mayonnaise, but I'm the boss at my house because I'm in my kitchen. So you layer that on top, and then you add your boiled eggs, which have been sliced and pretty decorated. Then you add your crumbled, crisp fried bacon. And then you top it with beautiful Louisiana tomatoes. Of course, this is the salad I would serve to go along with this gorgeous and very heartwarming, tummy-warming soup, crawfish soup, and our crawfish casserole, and my favorite, the pineapple chiffon pie, which I promise you will be very good too. And of course, you know, these are only a very few of the many very special dishes that you can fix with Louisiana products. Of course, Louisiana seafood is always my favorite, coming from the Cajun country. And today I featured the Louisiana crawfish. Well, you know, all this is making me hungry, so I think I'm going to plate up and eat. I've worked for it, and I got hungry. Of course, I've got these gorgeous dishes that the General has been giving me for Christmas presents, and I use them because I love them. Boy, this really looks good. Let me see how good this tastes. I'm going to check my cooking today. And now that we have cooked that great meal together, I want to share a letter with you. It's from Salada, Colorado. It says, "Dear Miss Lucy, we just recently received expanded coverage which allows us to get your show. We watch it every time we can. We love hearing the stories of your mother teaching you to cook and your family stories. It is delightful to see your granddaughter involved also. We have decided we need to come to Louisiana for a week and do nothing but eat the wonderful food you have there. We don't have good seafood in rural Colorado. Please keep up the good work. Martha Arcan. Thank you, Martha, for sending me this letter. Thank you for watching me today. Oh, V, you didn't do that. Well, we're going to look at the transform of that Noah Legger. Look.
We caught quite a few.
We gotta do it again. I'm gonna fall.
The Louisiana Seafood Board is proud to sponsor Miss Lucy's cooking series. Louisiana cooking is known around the world, and Louisiana's main ingredient? Seafood. We put the same thing into our music that we put into our gumbo. Everything. A Louisiana tour guide is available at www.louisianatravel.com. Louisiana crawfish, an appetizing natural resource.